Okay guys, welcome. I want to cover some of the building codes with you. These are international residential codes. I know this does say 2009, but the codes that we're going to cover today actually are still in play. They haven't changed, so we're good to go on that. But nonetheless, I'm going to cover these codes with you. And first thing I want to show you is the 12-foot rule right here. What that says is if you have a set of stairs going up to another landing, the distance between the two landings vertically measured can't be greater than 12 foot. So from here to here to here to here. And the reason is simple, because they don't want you falling down a very large set of stairs. That would be very dangerous. So they limit the vertical height which you can go down a set of stairs. Okay, the next thing I want to cover with you is the 36-inch measurement here. And what that just says is your landings. So at the beginning and end of your stairs, you have to have 36 inches of space in order to have a safe platform in front of the stairs to stand on before you go to the set of stairs. Interesting enough, the minimum width of a set of stairs is also 36 inches. Alright, taking a look at these codes here, I want to cover this with you. And I just said this because it's 36 inches. And that is the width of the stairs. Now you have some allowance for handrails. Each handrail on the left and right hand side can project into the stairwell by 4.5 inches. If you have it on both sides, then the minimum between the two handrails is 27 inches. So know this. Know this code so that you make sure you have the width of the stairwells correct. Okay, moving along. Let's take a look at your treads and risers. There's some important information here. The first one is the 7 3/4. And what that says is the maximum height of any one stair should not be greater than 7 3/4 of an inch. Now in Pennsylvania, that actually is 8 1/4, because PA has overwritten that code to make it 8 1/4. But I still like sticking to the 7 3/4 because it's just a little bit more safer. And that's what I do in my class. But nonetheless, in PA, you are allowed to go to 8 1/4 under extreme circumstances. The other thing that I want to point out to you is this rule, 3/8 of an inch. What that says is any one step can't be different in height by more than 3/8 of an inch. So if this was 7 inches tall, and let's say this step right here was 6.5 inches tall, then you can see there's a 1/2 inch difference between these two, and that would not be allowed, no go, because that's greater than a 3/8 inch. So no one step can be greater than or bigger than another step by more than 3/8 of an inch. And the reason is simple. You want a uniform set of stairs. You don't want different size stairs, because that would create a trip hazard. Okay, let's take a look at the treads. There's a couple codes I want to highlight here. One is this 10-inch. And if you look down here, there's actually an exception that I want to explain to you, which is the 11-inch. So if you have a set of stairs and this has a tread on it with a tread nosing, that's the part, the nosing is the part that hangs over, then you're allowed to do a 10-inch step, because the idea is the nosing makes up the difference. So, but here's what I want to explain to you here is if you don't have any nosing and your step actually lands flush like this, then this has to be a minimum of 11 inches. So no nosing, you got to have 11 inches. If you have a nosing, you can go to 10 inches. Now the nosing has to be a certain size too. And that's actually right here. The size of the nosing has to be between 3/4 of an inch and 1.25 inches. So that's the requirement for the size of the nosing. So that board that hangs over the nosing, that portion has to be between that measurement. That's the distance it hangs out. Okay, and just like the unit rise, the tread depth, the unit run, is the same rule. No one step not only could be different by 3/8 inch in height, but also in depth, and that's what that says here, 3/8 of an inch. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit here. Let's talk about this code here, headroom. The code is 6'8", and what that says, if you have a set of stairs and you got a ceiling up here, see how I put that line right at the tip of that stair right there? That distance from here to here can't be less than 6'8". So that has to do with headroom height. So you need 6'8" of headroom height from the ceiling to the tip of the stairs. Okay, let's look at the handrail code. Notice this is handrail. This isn't talking about a guard. A guard is a different thing. A handrail is something that you actually hold to help you get up a set of stairs. So a deck, if it has guards, that's different than this. This is a handrail. And a handrail has to be between 34 and 38 inches. So if you have a set of stairs, again, measuring it from that line up, so this is the purple represents your handrail. So the distance from here up has to be between 34 and 38 inches. Actually, I think they got a really nice picture of this if we fast forward a little bit right here. And you can see that 34 to 38, and you can also see it shows the 6'8" for the ceiling clearance. So those are two codes that you're going to want to know. I can almost assure you, if you're going to be in construction for a long enough time, you're going to encounter that code right there and have to put a handrail up at the correct height. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Do want to note this code right here. This is a very simple one. It just says that a handrail, if you start at the bottom, has to be continuous to the top. So you can't stop and start a handrail. That would be a no-go there. So continuous handrails for a set of stairs. Simple, but it has to be that way. Your hand grip is something you'll want to read over. I'm not going to cover it, but I do want to show you the picture here. I do want to give you some advice. If you're buying a handrail from Lowe's, then you're normally okay with these specs. They've been doing this a long time. The manufacturers know what the building codes are, and typically you're okay. It's when you run into a problem is when you make your own handrail. If you're going to make your own handrail, then what I want to encourage you to do is take a second to come back to this sheet. You can find this in the building code book, and just make sure that you follow the specs on this handrail. This is important because you got to remember this may be a 70 or 80-year-old couple that need to use this handrail to get up a set of stairs, and if you use a 2x6 or something, they're not going to be able to grip that handrail. So this is an important topic to make sure that this is a safe set of stairs. I do want to highlight light activation. If you get above 6 or more risers, 6 or more, then you have to be able to control the lights on both the bottom and upper levels, so on both levels. The reason is simple, because they don't want you walking up a large pair of stairs in the dark, and that's what you would find yourself doing if you only had lights at the one end of the light switch. So The code says we have to put light switches on both the lower and upper. They could be one of those motion activated lights too. So in that rare case where you can't get the switches in there, then you could put a motion activated light. And you are supposed to illuminate staircases. 1 foot candle, I don't even know what that is, but as long as you make sure you got a light near your stairs, you're okay. I've never had a building code officer measure my light quality before, but nonetheless, that is the code, and what we got to know is just make sure we line up the stairs. Okay. That should be pretty much all this slideshow. There is some stuff on spiral and winding stairs here. I'm not going to get too in depth of this, but if you ever find yourself constructing a spiral or a staircase, I'm going to recommend you come to this code book and just review this, as it does point out some of the minimum sizes in different areas of where you need to make sure you make the right depth. So not on the test, and not something you have to remember offhand, but just know that this is here, and if you need it, to come back to it and look at it. Okay, that's all. Wish you the best of luck and have a good day.